Not sure if you're seeing the screen or not. Can you check that out?
Yes, I can see your screen, but just to make sure, if you guys can see what I'm seeing, can you please chat me over a quick Y in the comments? Just a double X or a Y, something to let me know that that we're all on the same page here.
And which screen are you seeing? What do you see?
I believe it's your website. It says Tackle Trading.
Great, great. Okay. I just want to. I got many monitors going right now, as you know, as a trader.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
so so I never know which screen you're looking at. So it's okay because that's what we do. Got quite a few screens and many jumping around back and forth. My name is Gino Poore. I'm one of the owners and founders of TackleTrading.com. And real quickly, I just logged off so you can see our homepage. TackleTrading.com is a very large community of traders. And just so you know, we have a free trial on there. Of course, you just hit on the bottom. Just so you guys know, if you want to log in and check it out while I'm talking, you can start your free trial right here. It's a 15-day course. If you need more time to research and look at the site, just email us at team@tackletrading.com and we'll take care of you. So there's a lot of things to talk about when we talk about trading. And the biggest challenge today is for the individual, where to start, how to do it. And I'm just going to scroll down through our website because we cover so many areas. And as you know, when you first start out as a trader, if you're a beginner, there's a lot to learn. There's a ton. And we have so many instructional videos. You can find thousands of videos from other companies and other traders online. And there's so many things. But what I want to focus on today is something that's going to help you whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or a professional. And that would be systems. You have to create a routine, a system. Now, I have personally been trading for over 20 years. I started back in 1998. Here's the main four coaches. We have Matt Justice. We call him the Forex King. We have Tim Justice, the Mindset Muse. We all four of us are owners. There's about 20 of us at Tackle Trading as far as coaches and mentors and instructors. But we're the four co-owners, the four horsemen of the site. And we've all been trading individually at least 15 years. Like I said, 20 years myself. Combined together, I think we have over 90 years of experience. And we've all mentored, taught classes, and stock, options, futures, Forex, commodities, you name it. I've mentored over 400 individuals. And what that means mentoring is I actually have a trading office in Redondo Beach, California. And I work for companies like Legacy Education, Rich Dad Education, which is the author Rich Dad Poor Dad. I work for them. And over the last 15 years, we've all instructed classes and mentored one-on-one. And the biggest thing I see students come to us is, hey, I spend a lot of time in front of the computer. And I feel like I just don't get anywhere. And that's why I'm here. Show me how to make money. Show me how to do this. Show me how you do it. And really what they're asking, and you guys could probably relate to this, is, okay, I spend a lot of time out there in front of the markets, but I just don't feel 100% confident. Now, if you could relate, go ahead and raise your hand or say, yeah, I hear you. Because some of you guys here, you're going to be looking at the computer maybe 5 minutes this weekend, setting up your picks for next week. Heck, you might be looking at the computer for 5 or 6 hours. I remember as a beginner, I would sit around all weekend and not know what to do. So you know what you do is you gravitate towards your favorite pick, your favorite indicator, a news article, and you just don't have the confidence. So we said, let's build a community where you can take control. And so, by the way, just so you know, Matt Justice, Tim Justice, and I'm Gino Poore. That's me right there. You can click on there, get our bios, find out about each one of us. And there's even more bios of our other coaches. This is me. That's my mug right there. And some of you probably have met me. I've traveled the country teaching, and I've been on many, many different trader expos, marketplaces, that you name it. So what I want to do is I want to talk about a key word, and I don't care if you write down anything in notes. Just remember this word or write this one word down. It is the word called system. System. S-Y-S-T-E-M-S. When you have a system, it really helps out on everything. It's time management. It's getting your confidence there. So Tackle Trading is a team of professional traders with many years of experience in not only trading, but teaching, coaching, and mentoring in financial markets. Our main focus is not only placing trades, but education and building a community. So yes, you have a one-stop shop for placing trades. And I'm going to go in here and show you. Today is our favorite day, Saturday. Why? Because this is where we prepare for the week of trading. You can jump in here like a lot of different sites or a lot of different services, and we have a stock report, options report, commodity, Forex. And before I jump into there, what is this? This is for our pros out there, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. If I jump into the stock report, it's our combined community of coaches, and this one was just posted about 5 minutes ago. And I'll click on it so you guys can get a little sneak peek. And they're going to start posting every week. We have a stock report, an option, and commodities and Forex. So if I want to trade stocks, now these are focused on swing trading week to week. This is where we'll enter into a trade and maybe be in it anywhere from 3 to 7 days, or it might be stopped out in 1 day. But we're looking for swing trading setups. Now, the stock report, as you can see, because I'm going to come back to this, is the goal of every trader. The stock report, if you're trading stock, and then I'll get into options, is the goal to starting your week or your trading day. You want to go in with confidence knowing you have a good watch list, whether it's investing, day trading. That's step one, is how do I get a watch list I'm confident about? So where did these stocks come from? So on the stock report coming up for this week, and if you want to take a snapshot of this and track it, and we leave our picks out there so you can back test them and look at them, are pretty darn good. Why? Because we have experts building the list that are not only students of the course, but they're professional traders. This is what they do. Their office is their home, okay? And we've known these traders for many years. They're part of our community, and they've even taught classes with us. And they're also good friends of ours. We call them team, friends, family, community. And they're on here analyzing and not just putting their picks on, but we spend a few hours during the week, especially yesterday, Friday, whittling down there's 8,000 stocks out there. How do we build a good watch list? So we try to build a watch list about 20 bullish on stock and options and 20 bearish. But how do we go about doing it? I'm going to show you guys a real quick system so you can do it yourself. The goal is for you to do it, not to rely on somebody else to do it if you want to be a professional trader. So yes, the website's great for one-stop shop. Give me some picks. I want to go out and trade. That's called placing trades. So here you go. Here's your watch list for stocks coming up next week. You can see we don't just give the stock pick. We give the sector, which I'm going to show you right now is key to go into next week. The entry trigger points are very important. Just like you saw the previous speaker talking about candles, knowing exactly when to trigger above that candle. The key word is trigger point. If you knew where all the bulls were jumping in, that's all you need to know, really, is if you knew everybody's going to buy this stock at a certain price, then, of course, to be a trader, you need a stop loss. We show you where we're going to be putting our triggers in and our stop losses and our targets. We have two targets, a short-term target and a longer-term target, which is based on a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, sometimes more. Now, we throw out a lot of good setups, a lot of good trades, and a lot of good picks just because the target is not a big enough reward. And then we have notes on there, what we're seeing in that stock. So this, again, is just a one place. If you have you're short on time on the weekend, it's what every trader out there wants. Most people work 9 to 5. They're busy. Most people are social traders, not professional traders. They just want a professional to give them a bunch of picks. So we're going to give you the fish at first, but at the same time, when you have time, we want you to log in and learn how to fish. And we want you to be part of our community, and I'll get into our community, which is phenomenal. And below we have a chart of course, all the stocks. And then, to top it off, we have a 19-minute here video of one of the coaches breaking down each pick, what he sees in the chart, the setup, the candle setup, the pattern, the trigger point, where they're putting their stop. And then we get into position sizing. So here's your bull watch list. If you guys want to take a screenshot of that real quick, there you go. If I saved you time next week for trading, let me know in the chat box there. So that should save you a lot of time, right? Now down below, we have the bears watch list. Now we all know bulls make money and bears get rich, right? We really try to get people to do both sides of the market. So if you're doing, if the market's bullish, we would like you to do, and again, this is just from our experience, most of your trades bullish if the market's bullish, but there's a certain percent you should do bearish also. And we're, again, on the bear list, you have your stock picks, the sector, the entry, the stop, and the targets, and what we're looking at. And once again, the chart's below here. And real quickly, I'm going to put this legal disclaimer up here because we usually start every show or every student experience with that. Okay. And real quickly, so you guys go take a snapshot of the bear watch list. There you go. And by the way, your stop losses are the most important part of the bear watch list because, of course, shorting stock is very risky and you have to improve your account. Now, the option report has not been posted yet. That'll be posted at noon Pacific time. That's right here. Same format for all of our reports. Our option report from last week, now this is a weekly thing. Every Saturday gets posted. Will be reported any minute. This, again, same format, which I'd like to show you. You have your bullish picks with the triggers in, the triggers out. And down below, you have the watch list. Now, this I do not, you can take a snapshot if you want, but this isn't our picks going into next week for options. So as you can see, you can come back and every week and look how we did on our picks. For example, AMKR has not triggered yet. If I look at AMKR, our trigger is above $10 and our stops below $9.50. That's one of our lower price picks. And then if you notice a higher price pick like Celgene, which already triggered, Celgene is trigger point above 101, which triggered on Thursday, and is now sitting at 103. So that one's right now doing pretty good. That's one of our option picks. And again, this would be a long call or swing trade. Now, there's a big difference between a $10 stock and a $100 stock, especially when it comes to options. So what's very important that you know about the options report is, number one, you need option education. Are you a basic level where you're buying calls and puts? Or are you in an intermediate level where you're doing covered calls and calendars, or a professional level where you're doing condors and what have you? Well, in the report, not only do we go over the triggers, entry, and exit, and stop, we go over the professional trader who's doing this, by the way, which his name is up here, Tyler Craig. He's going to go over what strategy as far as options he's going to use for these stocks. So that's what I like about our option report. Is number one, you have the pick. Number two, you have the triggers and targets. So everything's done for you. But what takes people extra long in their journey to be a professional trader is, again, time management. Which strategy? Now, I don't know how many strategies you know. We teach about 30 strategies. That's all the basic ones, believe it or not. And we have some very advanced strategies. And then finally, to go far above and beyond that, look at Celgene. We're up pretty decent on a 2-day move on Celgene. For a long call, when our rules are to buy 60 delta on a long call, if we're up $2, well, actually, yeah, $2 roughly, on a 60 delta for each call, what does that mean? So when you buy a call and it has what's called a delta, the delta tells you, and most brokers have this, it's an in-the-money call by one strike. If you're looking at the strike price, look for the delta. You'll notice it's roughly 50 to 60 on the first strike in the money. So we just shoot for something around 60 on your basic swing trade. So if I bought a long call on this and the stock's up $2, my profit on the option right now is about $120 a contract. Now, this is where the true training gets in, beyond the watch list. And this is where my expertise and the coach's expertise come in, is the professional trader knows what you're thinking. You see, there's a lot of students right now sitting on this trade in the weekend going, do I sell it? Do I wait for the target? Is $120 good? Should I move up my stop? Is there a way to hedge this? Can I turn it into a spread? Can I turn it into a calendar and make positive theta where I'm getting paid cash flow? Where do I move my stop up if I'm going to lock in profit? Is there a profit lock? Oh my God, there's going to be a red candle Monday. What do I do? It's the decisions that go through your head after you're filled in a trade that psychologically take your time and basically drive you nuts. And again, this is where systems come in. So what do we have? We have management. So not only are you triggered into a trade, we follow up on the trade. We have management. And with that, we have a community chat forum 24/7 and a phone app that you can talk to the coaches. And better yet, we have shows. We have currently 13 live shows, 1 hour each, all throughout the week. 2 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Why? Because when we're triggered into our trades, how would you adjust it? How would you profit lock it? How would you turn it into a risk-free trade? That's the goal, is to turn your stock or option trade into a risk-free trade. Write this down under your word of system. Management is essential. A lot of times we don't hit our triggers and we still make money. And people say, how do you do that? Because we're moving up our stop. We're rolling out of the option into a cheaper trade. We're hedging it. We're taking profit off. We're scaling in, scaling out. We're layering. Sometimes we don't like the trigger. We get out and we explain why. When you can actually, number one, master a system that saves you time to find the trade, your whole goal is management. You want to wake up to a portfolio, no matter if it's swing trading or long-term investing, where all you have to do is manage your exits and take profit. That's where the decision process is, and very little people teach it. And the ones that do it best are the professional traders. So I've had many mentors myself. I've had many mentors over the last 20 years in stock, options, futures, and Forex. And I'm always learning about management techniques to perfect it. And the only way you can have management techniques is a community you can tap into and say, hey, look at my position. Any ideas? Does that make sense? So management is everything. So I'm going to show you guys this quick system. We have a lot of systems. I'm just going to show you real quickly. Right from the top, the newsletter. This is a top-down approach. If you're a beginner or intermediate or even advanced, you probably know about this. But if you're a beginner, you need to know this one. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's basically how to build a watch list in about 2 minutes. Exactly. How to build a watch list in about 2 minutes. And from the watch list, your trigger points and management is everything. And it shouldn't take you all weekend or all night to do this if you have a good system. So I'm going to show you that's one of our first system that everybody in our pro membership learns. And we walk you through it every week on our lounges in the morning. Our halftime reports in the halftime is about 12:30 Eastern time on our 2 YouTube live. And then our nightly shows at 8:30 Eastern. We always go through our top-down approach. Then you can use the stock and options report much more wisely and efficiently. It's about saving time. And here's our shows, just so you know. We have the Traders Lounge every morning, coaches shows on Tuesday night, Cash Flow Club Thursday night, Mind of a Trader. And like you noticed in the last 5 minutes I've been talking, it's mostly psychology, right? Psychology is everything. You can get the best books and the best education, but until you think correctly and get your mindset correctly, you won't have the confidence to face the trading day every day as good as you really can. And we have a great group called Women in Trading Mastermind Group. And I go there. I go to Women's Event. They are some of our best traders, by the way. So if you want to compete, be careful. These women traders of ours, they think differently. They can multitask. They're good. Some of the best traders are women, just so you know. So we created a group just so we can learn from them, guys, okay? I know there's a lot of guys in this business, but we have some females that are some of our trainers and experts that will blow you away, all right? My youngest student is a 12-year-old girl, and she is already learning options, all right? That's my youngest student. Now, on our courses and systems, number one, our pros get this right out of the gate. It's Technical Analysis 101. This is the chart patterns, and like the candlesticks, like the previous speaker was talking about, this is all your basic setups, candlesticks, triggers, and how you read a chart. Our premium step system, I'm going to show you that right now. Our step system, I'm going to show that in a second here. This is our swing trading system here that is second to none. It is the best swing trading system. And again, I've taught many, many students around the country, and we've brought together the best swing traders and built this system. It's not by one person, it's by many. And we defined the system step by step. And on our systems, you actually take a course. You go through and answer questions, pass a test, and go to the next chapter. It's not just a book you read, and it's interactive. Our 7-step guide to trading, this is free. You can download this immediately, and I'm going to go over that in a second. Our system development, how to build systems, options 101, futures 101. Notice it says pro here. When it says pro here, guess how much these are? These are all included in our monthly fee for our website, which again, I don't know if I mentioned it, is only $97 a month. And you can actually go through all these courses that say pro on them in the next 15 days free. You can do Technical Analysis 101. It'll take you a couple hours. Options 101, go at your own pace on that one, and futures. And then these premium ones, these are paid systems if you want to learn swing trading. Their Tackle 25 is our covered call, naked put cash flow system that every quarter we put out our top 25 best cash flow picks, just like I showed you in the watch list on the stock and options. These are based on fundamentals, cash flow, and returns annually. And we update this every quarter. Our most popular course is the Cash Flow Condors, and it has its own meetup group that they get together online live and interact. It's mostly our system on doing credit spreads on the Russell and a few others. Here's the most important course, which I think everybody should have, Bear Market Survival Guide. Bear Market Survival Guide is how to play the down market, how to play that big sell-off, how to survive in a major market crash. And again, I play the Bear Market Survival Guide every week. I'm always ready with some put spreads on the S&P and VIX spreads and how we protect ourselves. Because right now the market, our stance is bullish. Therefore, we have a little bit of insurance on the downside. And we have market signals that tell us when to load up on that. Again, these are all systems. And of course, we have our blogs and our trade center. So real quickly, I want to talk about this one very important thing right here. You want to take a screenshot of this, is our 7-step guide to trading. You can click on it here, but I want to run through this real quickly. You can take the 7-step guide to trading course. This is free. This will help you develop a system and a top-down approach. It's got videos to go with it. And let me just walk you through it real quickly. And my time's not even half over, guys, but I just want to give you a little recap of what we're going to do. I'm going to go over the 7-step system. Then I'm going to show you how I use it in the basic top-down approach. And you can start doing this immediately, whether it's on your own software or your broker or your own websites or just through our website. But then you can see how quick and easy it is to put together a trading routine. But when it gets to management, you need professional guidance on that. You need somebody, a coach, a mentor, an instructor, a professional trader or a community of professional traders like we have to look over your shoulder and say, you know what? You might want to move your stop up on that, hedge it with this, take off half your position. And there's a lot of questions like, how do I know how many shares to take off? How do I know which call to sell on this covered call? What do I do if it's in the money? How long should I wait to close out so I'm not assigned? We have formulas for that. Turnkey cookie cutter formulas, because we've done thousands of these trades. And we say, listen, the odds are this is going to happen. You need to do this. And once you have that down and you've perfected your system, again, it's about time management and consistent profit. So I've got a real quick little slideshow I'm just going to run through on the 7 steps here, just to make it easy. So the student experience, maybe just bring this up real quickly. Hang on. Gotta find the right monitor. Try to drag it over. Okay. And I'm looking at the panel here. I'm looking for any questions I don't see. I don't know if we're going to open up to questions or not, but one second here. I am trying to find my PowerPoint here for this, and it's not popping up. So it's not opening up. So basically, let me just go through it here on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of small, but I'm just going to, I had a bigger one, but I'm just going to keep this one here. I'm going to get a pen and show you on the screen, if that's okay, because it's a little small. It's a little small. I had a bigger picture of it, but no big deal. Okay. There, now we're opening. Okay. Let me get the pen. So I'll draw where I'm looking at so you guys can see at the same time, just to make it easier. So number one, oops, let me make that a little smaller. Number one, I'm going to circle it right there. Start at the top of the markets. You can take notes or a screenshot. Start at the top of the markets. This is where we develop a market bias. As a beginner, I was always wondering, why do we need to know where the markets are going? Because you want to know where the money's going. Is money being bought? Is stocks being bought or sold? And where is the money going, into the market or out of the market? Maybe it's going into real estate. Maybe it's going into bonds. And we look at all those different aspects of not just the stock market. Maybe it's going in currencies and Forex. What is the market biased? And again, that's bullish, bearish, or neutral. Now, as I'm going through this, there's a few things I want to make sure you remember. When I say beyond the books, that means beyond education. There are rules to trading and many strategies, but knowing when and how to do them are essential. So you have to have an opinion on the market. It's all about having an opinion. Once you're trading your opinion, you might want to write that down. What you're really trading is your opinion. And that's why you want to put the odds in your favor. So you're not always going to be right. But having a strong opinion and putting the odds in your favor will definitely help in the long run. So basically, on the rules of trading many strategies and knowing when and how to do them are essential, we put together these trading systems. And most systems you're going to know start with a market bias. And in case you missed the beginning when I talked about systems, are basically strategies and rules done in the correct order, a step-by-step checklist for entry, management, and exit. The keyword there is management. Systems also give you the best follow-up management techniques so you know how to make a quick decision. So systems are basically the turnkey answer to avoid procrastination and indecision. Because if I don't know if you've heard this saying before, time will rob you blind if you can't decide. And you might be getting somewhat good results in your trading, but how long is it taking you? Is it worth it? Hopefully it's fun and not frustrating. So systems are to produce consistency. You might want to write that down, consistency. Consistent results. So the goal for a new trader as you're developing your routine is number one, to produce consistency. Write that down. Consistent results. Number 2, cash flow. Based on your portfolio size, your cash flow results, are they consistent? Are you producing cash flow more than you're not? You're not going to have a successful week every week. Is it somewhat predictable? Now, with consistency and cash flow comes number 3, the ultimate goal of the trader is confidence. I hope that makes sense. Consistent cash flow confidence. Easy to remember. It's what we turn, it's something some of you hear us talking about all the time in our shows. It's hard to get confidence. It's hard to get that number 3 without number 1 and 2, consistent cash flow. And you know you've got it when, ready for this, when it starts to get boring. When it starts to get boring, you know what? This is very routine, and that's what a system is. So this one here is a top-down approach, and we're going to develop a market bias, and we're going to find, and what that means is we're going to find sectors by strength and weakness, and which trends are the strongest, which ones are the weakest, and even better yet, we might even dive into a certain industry, because you're going to notice the big money, the institutions, the bias will go to a certain industry. Now, I started out in the .com era, and all you had to do was buy anything with the word .com or technology in it, and you doubled your money practically every month. Now, that was not back in 2000, 1999, 2000. So I had a rough start I was not seeing the truth. I just thought all stocks doubled all the time. It's because I was in the right sector. I was in the right industry. But come to my surprise, by 2001, I watched those gains disappear because over 80% of the .coms, I forgot the exact percent, went bankrupt. And I was still on the bullish side. And I couldn't understand why they would go bankrupt. I mean, stocks that were high flyers, companies that just are gone. And the bubble popped, and I did not play those stocks to the downside. And I still played the technology sector and .com industry for months to come and watched my money disappear. And that's when I said I better get education. So market bias and sector and industry are so important. So you have to know when that sector is done. You have to know, hey, this sector is done. I need to find the next best sector or industry. That's called having a bias on the markets and sectors. And I'll show you how to find that. It's very easy. Number 2 here on our 7-step guide to trading is choose a trading strategy. Are you going for cash flow? That would be yield, credit spreads, covered calls, calendars, naked puts. Are you going for growth? That'd be value investing, can slim, long stock with good fundamentals. Maybe exchange traded funds or even precious metals. Heck, it might even be Bitcoin. Or is it speculation? Are you looking for scalping, swing trading, stock trading, options, spreads? And spreads are anything from debit spreads to condors. So choosing a trading style so you can refine what you're looking for. You want to make sure it's kind of like if you're going fishing, are you bringing the right bait for what you're fishing for? Too many people are looking for covered calls on $300 stocks. That's wrong. There's certain prices of stocks and certain sectors and kinds of stocks that are good. If you're looking for good fundamentals, you're not going to be finding them real easily in small caps. You got to look for good fundamentals in certain markets and certain industries. You're not going to find good fundamentals in biotech. So there's certain ways, if I'm looking for yield, you're not going to find those in companies that have bad cash flow or revenue. So there's certain ways to find your trading style. So it cuts out a lot of time, again, part of the system, on knowing what you're looking for right out of the gate. So this week I might be looking for swing trades. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go for swing trading. So I'm going to focus on a system that finds the best swing trades, and then I'll decide on condors, and then I'll decide on maybe covered calls. Number 3, analyzing potential trades. Find and analyze potential trades. This is the easy part. I'm not going to spend any time on this because I'm going to show you how to do it. It's so easy nowadays with all the screeners and technology. Number 4, plan the trade. Risk management. This is where we find our setup. So we're going to find maybe a sector that has a whole bunch of stocks in it, like let's say healthcare. I'm going to look for the ones that are setting up that are a good 1 or 2 ATRs away from their trigger point. So this means they're probably going to trigger this week, coming up on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So I'm going to plan the trade, find my trigger points and the targets. And I want to make sure the targets are a good enough distance where it makes it worth taking the trade based on my stop. Now, planning the trade and trading the plan, again, trading the plan is the management, is essential. We have our setup, triggers, and targets. You want to write that down. Your setup, which is based on the trend, your trigger points, and your targets. From your trigger points, your position sizing is built. You don't always do 100 shares. You don't always do 5 calls or 1 call. The biggest mistake a beginner does when they're position sizing is, number 1, they over position size, or number 2, they under position size. When you're practicing, especially if it's paper money, position size correctly so that you know when you get stopped out, that's your realized loss. I see so many students position size when they're beginners, especially if they're in real money. They'll buy 1 call, maybe 2, or they'll buy a handful of shares. And they'll put their stop loss, and they're not getting a realistic what that loss would be. So when they jump into, oh, okay, I like this one, I think I got the hang of it, I'm going to do 5 calls. And then they wonder why their loss is so big. They go, what went wrong? You want a position size just like you're trading with confidence in your real account so you can see a realistic expectation and outcome. So portfolio allocation overall per trade, per position is everything. Position sizing, and this is a term we say a lot in tackle trading, is your first line of defense. Position sizing is your first line of defense. And if you're not using a stop loss and you're just eyeing the trade, good luck. Now, there's some trades we will not use stop losses in some option strategies, but those are certain strategies. We have exits on everything. Now, we're going to come to that was number 4, plan the trade, trade the plan. Number 5, placing the trade. This could be live market, aftermarket, or contingent orders. And we have step-by-step videos how to do that if you don't know how to do that already, knowing your broker. Number 6, managing the trade. Managing the trade, these are the adjustments, the exits, the targets, the stop losses, scaling in, scaling out, profit locks and hedges. This, by the way, managing the trade, is when you get through the beginner level, this is the intermediate to advanced favorite part of our site. Not only do we have our stop losses and exits on our strategies and our triggers, but here's the thing. Our live shows, how would you feel if before you made adjustment on your position, you said, as a pro, what would you do, Gino? What would you do, Matt? What would you do, Tim? Is there anything I could do? Is there a way I can hedge this? I had a student this week. I had a student was in my office this week. He actually came out live. We're trading together. And he said, I'm looking at my option. It's doing really well. I want to get out, but it's doing everything I want it to do. And he bought a call that had a 60 delta. And I said, well, now your call's in the money. It's at an 80 delta. One of the rules in our systems is if your delta goes from 60 to 80, because now you're in the money, you roll it back to a 60 immediately because you want liquidity on those options. And then we said, wait a minute. What if we rolled it to a 30? It's a much cheaper option, and it's actually cheaper than our profit. We're in a risk-free trade. So we actually rolled it to about a 35 delta, which kept him in the trade, just a different strike price, and it profit locked all of the profit and premiums on that option. Then I said, how about if we sell a call against it? Bring in another couple bucks. Now we're not only in the trade still, but we're in a spread, profit locked, already profitable, and it allowed us to bump up the contract size. So if the move continues, we can double and quadruple the profits. It's a risk-free trade just by knowing a couple simple management techniques. Was that worth this trip to my office? Absolutely. And we do this all the time on the lounges. Again, I wish we had this when I was being developed. When I was in my trading career back in 2000, I wish we had a professional looking over my shoulder telling me what to do. That really would have helped. Number 7, journaling. A lot of people don't like to journal, but this is where you learn your lessons. This is where you learn your strengths and weaknesses. And we have journals built right here on the site. So you can actually, let me bring it up here. Our trade journals right here. These are for our pro members. You can not only journal your entry and exit, but we have journals for covered calls, naked puts, all the different strategies, all the theta and delta strategies. And then it combines them all in one major journal. So let's say you get done with 50 different trades, whether it's stock options, spreads, whatever it is. We can sort it by which strategy you did best at. A lot of people don't realize they might be good at playing the bear market and buying just long puts. You have to see your overall, where's your strength, where's your weakness, where's your best returns at, what kind of trading, and you might realize maybe I'm not a better swing trader, maybe I'm a better position trader, maybe I'm a better scalper. So developing who you are and where your time spent is essential, and you only get that through journaling. So take the time to journal, definitely as a beginner, until you know your numbers. And that is the 7-step start at the markets down. Any question on that, let me know. Now, like I promised, I want to take you guys through a top-down approach. And we call this building a watch list in 2 minutes. Every week, we post a tackle newsletter. This is our market bias, and this again is on the 7-step approach, starting with number 1, all the way through finding a trade. Now the new one's coming out in about an hour, the newsletter, and this will prepare you for next week. But I'm going to click on this past week by Marquise Johnson here, one of our coaches. This is last Saturday, so you can see what it looks like. Now watch how we have this laid out. Again, this is top-down approach, and this is one of the fastest top-down systems to help put the odds in your favor. So if you're a beginner, this will help you save time and help you build your confidence. If you're intermediate or pro, this will just save you time, period. And you can actually be finicky and dissect what stocks you really want. It might even give you ideas or better picks than you're already looking at. So top-down approach basically is this. In the newsletter, we're going to start with news that's coming up that might move the markets next week, the economic calendar. Then we're going to get into market and sector trend and key levels. Then we're going to get into seasonality of the markets and what usually happens, what to expect. Then we're going to also touch base on world markets. And finally, we're going to put it all together in the trader's thoughts and what we think is working best. And in here, we have a screener that shows you how we get our picks, how most of our coaches get their picks to put into the stock and options report. So again, you could jump right to the stock and options report right here and get the picks with the triggers, and you got your watch list and you're done. But to build real confidence, you want to actually go through the top-down approach and do it yourself. So as I'm scrolling down, this will take about 20 minutes for you to do on your own, but I'm just going to touch the highlights. Here's the economic calendar coming up in the upcoming week. Now, this was last week, of course. So, of course, Wednesday was retail sales, and we're only putting the market movers on here. So you see, Monday, bank holiday, Tuesday, no news. No news means there could be tweets, there could be surprises that come out, earnings reports, and that kind of thing. This is the planned news, the economic calendar. Now, Wednesday, not only is core retail sales coming out, but I take note of this because this might have an effect on the retail sector. So when I get to the sectors, I want to remember that. The Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, unemployment claims. That's the unemployment claims every Thursday. And if I want a coach to walk me through this top-down approach, I just click on the video here and they will walk through it for me so I understand what I'm looking at. But if you kind of understand it, you could read through it on your own. And also when you do the video with the coach, they kind of give you a little insight of what they're weighing on. Are they going into the retail sector? Are they going to healthcare? Where do they see the markets going? They go a little more in depth. But I'm just going to touch on the content. We start out, of course, with the S&P 500, a chart with the major highs and lows and major support and resistance. And as you can see on here, the numbers are spelled out, support levels. And right now we're slightly bullish on that. And this is last week, by the way. So last week we were slightly bullish, and now we're testing the highs. And of course you have the major market, so they're updated real time in the charts. But last week's report, the S&P broke below 2950, and a blink of an eye broke through 2950 to the upside resistance and changed course. And then we have what I call my proprietary indicator I put together called the AR high-low. This is kind of like the McClellan oscillator. Some people call it the Gino oscillator. We're looking for 2 closes above 50 to signal an internal bullish trend. Right now we have that. We've got over 3 closes above 50. That means my indicator measuring the highs and lows has to be above 50. Now I'm not going to go in the algorithm and all the math on this. This means favor the bull side. If I get 2 closes below, 2 days in a row, below negative 50, that means like this over here. These were our market turning bearish. I'm not going to do it here on the show, but I'll tell you what, you go back and back test this. This is warned anywhere from 1 day to 1 week before any market sell-off. And it's taken me many years to develop this. And this is just one of our many professional indicators that we like to share with people that we use. You're not going to find this anywhere else. It's basically all the market internals blended up and put into one chart. Seasonality, what usually happens? Well, just so you know, we're coming into the middle of October here, right? So here we are. This was last week, but now we're right about here. We're usually, right now, I think we're right here. So on seasonality, we usually wait for this breakout above September to break through to the Christmas rally, to the end of year rally. Now, this doesn't always happen. This is the average. You're looking at a chart of what happens on average for the last 20 years. So what has happened on average for the last 20 years? Most of the time, the market has broke out somewhere in the beginning of November and rallied up, testing that breakout spot at the end of November, rallying back up to the beginning of December, pulling back in the middle of December, and finishing the year strong. Last year, we did not have that. But looking for that signal, and by the way, guys, for you Elliott Wave guys out there, this is your Elliott Wave time of year. This is the only time you'll start seeing it work because you've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it going to happen like that this year? No, but it's nice to know the history of seasonality, what can possibly happen. So I'm not going to even look at this rally into Christmas until we get what? The breakout. And that's where we're testing right now. So going back and looking at the markets, we're at those key levels now. If it fails, well, then we'll probably have a different outcome. So seasonality kind of gives you a hint, especially when it comes to sectors. Now, getting into seasonality, if you're not going to look at the market and get a biased, the next best thing, or the absolute number one thing you have to do, is at least have a bias on sectors. Usually, going back on 20 years of past data, in October, technology, which is the ETF XLK, and materials are your leaders. And usually, looking back over the last 20 years of data, healthcare and energy are your most bearish or your underperformers. That just gives you an idea to like, okay, in October, look for technology to start going up. Now, coming into November, you'll notice that materials takes the lead and stays there all the way through December. Now, think about that. You might want to put a little emphasis on the material stocks going from here all the way into Christmas. Not really looking at shorting them, but putting them on your bulls watch list. Now, on the bears side, you can see that, let me erase this real quick. You can see that healthcare in October is your underperformer, and energy. And energy's been the underperformer for a while. Now, we started back in July as energy being an underperformer, and it's still there. It's still one of our worst sectors. So seasonality-wise, it's taken the bottom spot the last 4 months. And it kind of disappears in November. And what takes its place? Utilities and financials. So that tells me put tight stops in my utilities going into November and tight stops in my financials. And maybe start looking at materials and industrials. Again, this is only seasonality, and you can't always depend on seasonality. So we take it a step further. We go beyond the books, and we put it on our infamous gridiron. Because we are tackle trading. We like to refer to ourselves as the sport called trading. We're the sportsters of trading. We build our fantasy leagues of stocks. That's what we do, our fantasy portfolios. And we're playing this game as our career. This is what we do. So I look at it as I am a professional trader slash sports guy. I look at this as a football field. So what we do, we try to use a lot of relationships to the game. So in the game here, I'm going to circle the S&P. And I'm going to go down the field like this. You can see the greens on the right. Here's neutral. Here's slightly bullish. Here's a little bit more bullish. And very bullish is +3. So -3 to +3. This will help us pick a strategy. And then you can see the yard line. Here's the 50-yard line. The S&P is just to the right of the yard line there. Now, when I'm looking at this, I could easily see the dollars outperforming as far as trend. And then you got real estate sector, staples, and technology. Now I'm gonna make this easier to see. I'm only gonna circle the outperforming sectors. Done. These sectors are currently, if you go on the trends, are outperforming not only on the RSI, but on the angle of the trend, the setup, and the strength and the money coming into the sectors. On the bear side, I have all these guys on the left side of the S&P. Now you can also notice, one second here, we change colors. You can notice on the bears, these arrows. These arrows tell you which way they've moved in the last week. So since materials, communications, and energies have moved up out of the red into neutral, I might disregard those and look for one that's actually getting more bearish if I'm going to pick a bearish one. So looking at this, it's a good place to start, but looking at this, utilities is still very strong. Real estate, staples, and technology has moved into the bull field here. See the arrow pointing to the right? These are the sectors I would immediately look for my bulls watch list, start building my bulls watch list. The bears, probably healthcare. Now this is last week, remind you, and we'll go look at the results in a second. And maybe energy, since it's been bearish the last 4 months and it keeps going downfield and hitting its head on neutral and going downfield, hitting its head on neutral. So what I do is I pick one or two, and then I go and find those stocks. Now people say there's a lot of stocks in those sectors. Now check this out. I'm going to show you how fast the system is. I only have a few minutes here, but I'm going to show you 2 minutes to build a watch list. Ready? Here's how you use this. At the top, of course, you got news coming up. Watch how fast this is. Time me, 2 minutes. Ready? Market bias bullish. Bullish market, come down here. I got my buy signal. So I might do some bear trades. We're usually bullish this time of year, seasonality. My number one sectors are technology in October and materials. Let me go see how they're performing. Here is technology. Materials is not quite there yet, so I'm going to ignore him, right? And I might even take, I don't know, I'll go in here and I'll grab real estate. Here's real estate. I'll go look at some real estate here. And where's my real estate? So I'll circle real estate. So on the bull side, I'm just going to start with real estate and technology. That's where I'm going to build my bull list. And just to make life easy, I'm going to pick energy again for bears or healthcare. So I got my 2 bulls, I got my 2 bears. That took about 30 seconds, right? Without me drawing, probably faster. Sorry about the little squiggles with the mouse. And you can see updated trends here. Down here, I'm going to come back to this. My stock or my sector, if I look at the gridiron, these were sitting about +1 or +2. I'm going to pick +1 or +2 strategies. And when I go to this option strategy, which is at the top of our site, it'll tell me exactly how to build that strategy with options. So watch this. I go down to the bulls. Well, not the bulls. I'm going to go down the sectors. Do you remember which 2 sectors I'm going to be building my bull watch list with? I'm going to be building it on real estate. So I'm going to right-click on real estate. And I'm going to right-click on utilities. And what was the other one? Technology. So I actually got 3 of them there. When I go to real estate up here, we've already sorted out based on volume, optionable, liquidity, what stocks are in that sector. I'm going to sort it by financial, and since I'm bullish, I'm going to sort it by the lowest PEG ratio. I like PEG ratios fundamentally under 1.5. Now, when I look at the charts, there's my watch list done. I'm going to go through here and look for setups in the real estate sector and look for, and there we go. We got one breaking out right now, AIV. And here's my trigger at 54 on CBRE. Here's a breakout setup right here on AMT. AMT, bam, got my trade. For Monday, my trigger is at 230. I'm going to go into what I have here is utilities. Again, valuation, my low PEG score. Now they're in order. The first 10, these are pegs, these are normal for utilities. I hit basic. Here's my trigger at $40.15 above that on NRG. Got my pick. SRG, right above here. So I'm already in a good fundamental, good sector, bullish market bias. So check this out, top-down approach. Bullish market, bullish sector, bullish industry, bullish fundamentals. I cannot put any more odds in my favor. Now I'm going to lower the risk by doing an option strategy, which I'll save that for our next class. So right above here is my trigger on SRE. On the bear side, so do you see how fast I built that? In about 2 minutes, right? Energy, find a bear pick. Watch how fast it is, find a bear pick. I'm going to sort it by a high peg, not a low peg, but a bad number. The higher, the worst. Anything above 3 is considered bad fundamentally. And we do have fundamental lessons that we teach. I'm going to basic, and here you go. There's my trigger right here. WMB, just below the low of that quadruple bottom. Here's another one, low below 60, trigger on CXO. That's how we find our picks, but if you want to save even more time, so build your confidence and follow those. You could go back and look how we did on our reports. This is how we build our stock and options report. So looking at those picks from last week, you can see on our options report, you can take your sectors that you're favoring, come into the stock and options report, and we have the sectors here. Boom, technology, that's why they're on top. Healthcare, industrials, and you can pick which one you want. Guys, that's all the time I have. I'm running out of time, so I'm going a little bit over here. If you would like a free trial, all you have to do is go into Tackle Trading, and you got a 15-day free trial. And everything I talked about here, guys, is our monthly fee of $97. And you can hit Start My Trial right here. And I'm known as the Theta Maker, and you can see the reviews. We have a 5-star rating review from Trustpilot. And here is everything you get for the 15-day trial. And that's all the time I have. And basically, I could go forever. I enjoy being here. I love teaching. I'd love to be back again. Any questions or anything you'd like to say? Now's the time.